Wow. I'm happy to come your way again today on Purpose Impact platform. And I'm excited to share this with you today. One of the hindrances to purpose fulfillment is fear. One of the things that hinders people from deploying their talents, from exploring the possibilities of doing what God has commissioned them to do, or fulfilling the purpose why God created them, is fear. In Matthew 25:25, the guy that received 1 talent said, "So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here, have what is yours." First, the guy was afraid. He was afraid of his master. He was afraid of venturing. He was afraid of taking risk. He was afraid of trying out what God asked him to do. He was afraid of experimenting. He was afraid of putting his talent to use. He was afraid of trading with the resources he was given. And the same thing is impeding some of us today. We are afraid. We are afraid to venture into the trade, the business, the NGO, the opportunities, and the privileges that God has brought our way. We are afraid to go out there and touch the lives that God wants us to touch. You are afraid to go out there and make the impact that God has designed you, that God has configured you to make. You are afraid to spend that money. You are afraid to invest that resources. You are afraid to do that which God has, appointed you, anointed you, and commissioned you to do, because you don't know what will happen if you try out. Many of us are afraid of ridicule. We are afraid of people criticizing us. You are afraid of people blackmailing you. You are afraid of people intimidating you, and you are afraid of losing your face. You are afraid of losing resources. You are afraid of losing your friends if you start out what God wants you to do. I'm here to tell you today that to be afraid is to be a caretaker. And all caretakers eventually become undertakers. But if you rise up with courage and you take the risk it requires, you become a risk taker, you will soon become an overtaker. What you need to do is to start with what you have, where you are. You don't need to have everything to start something. You need to start with what you have, where you are. The truth is that all the resources that is required has been made available. But until you start doing something, you will not discover the next resources that you need for the next assignment. The whole resource that is required for this assignment that God has given to you is with you already. You have it configured in you. But until you start doing something, you will never have access to the next resources that you need for the next assignment. So I am here today to encourage you to rise up even when you are afraid. You see, courage is not the absence of fear, but courage is the determination to rise up and do something even when you are afraid. So like God told Joshua to be courageous and to be fearless. I am telling you again today, be courageous and stop being afraid. Begin to do the things that God has asked you to do, and you will not regret it. God be with you until we meet again. Bye-bye.